I figured out how to make a magic button that starts the stream, because the people that work for me are still in college. I rely on some interns to help run computers. So for better or worse, you've got me and only me today with regards to the live stream, but that's okay. Because I think this is going to be really interesting and potentially valuable live stream for everybody watching today. Once again, the live streams are going to be reposted on the Delicious Dollars podcast. That's what we call it. And if you're on YouTube, all you have to do is go into the playlist, live stream playlist. It'll be on there forever. It'll be on there for quite some time. If you are on Facebook, it's just going to be left up because Facebook does not devalue my live streams. That's why we do it. It's one of the complexities of running social media. I wish I could tell you that it works different than it actually does, but whatever. It's just how it is. I don't know what to do. So hopefully my audio is good and video's good and everything's looking good. I've got a lot of diagrams to click through. So I appreciate everyone. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and tell me. I want you to blow up the chat right now. Tell me where you're from. I love hearing where the people watching my live streams are from. It always blows my mind that sometimes I'll have people here in Circleville that live close to me, and they're watching the stream, and then we have people all around the world. So do me a favor and let me know, where are you tuning in to? I had someone send me a nasty DM last week, and they said, you can't use the term film anymore. That just shows that you're an old millennial because you remember when things were on film and VHS cassettes. But post in the comment section, where are you located? I'd love to hear where you guys are tuning in from. I mean, gosh dang it, I said it again. Guys. I said tuning in. That's a TV thing, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not going to talk about, we already had one DM to the page and they said, oh, it's Brandon going to scam crypto. I get crypto questions every time. I am not like a big guy on crypto. I do have maybe 2% of my investment portfolio in crypto. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. I would not recommend that anybody buy much else beyond that. Don't over leverage yourself on crypto. I'm not big on options. I really am very negative on Forex. Just as a real quick reminder, I'm not very big onto any of those kinds of investments. What can anybody tell me what investments that I am big into? I'm big on real estate. Probably 80% plus of my net worth is in real estate. Probably 80% of my net worth is in real estate. I am big on buying businesses, vending machines, laundromats, car washes, storage locker facilities, anything where there's a product or a service that's produced that somebody needs. Last week we talked about how I really want to take over, or I want to purchase a septic company. A lot of you guys that live in big big cities, you have no idea what a home private sewage system is. I want to buy a septic company. Any of those companies, I am huge on. I am big on services. I am big on vending machines. I am not big on crypto, options, Forex. I'm not saying I'm really against Forex, guys. I can't state that enough. And I get nasty messages all the time from that. Oh, what happened here? Uh-oh. Let's see. Oh my goodness, what happened? Something switched. What on earth? That is really weird. The video just completely died off. Gosh, we lost, of course, 50 people. I don't know what happened here. It switched. My camera never turned off. Doesn't make any sense. The camera turned off. It switched from something to something else. I don't know. I think a spoonie or a person of the rock, and you guys that have watched me for a while, you know what that means. A spoonie or a person of the rock, I think, has maybe intercepted our stream and caused a problem. So that's what I'm going to blame it on, guys. So anyway, those are the things that I'm big on because unlike stocks, unlike crypto, unlike Forex or any of these other big financial instruments, you can change the value of a business. You can change the value of a piece of real estate. I like investments that I can get my hands into. And that's not to say that I don't like getting into a flipping car business. I don't have experience on flipping cars. Noah, my intern that's not with me today, he flips dirt bikes and small engine like ATVs, dirt bikes, go-karts, things like that. He buys them, fixes them, and sells them. He makes great money. We've got several videos that are coming out with Noah just about his process of going around and buying old vehicles and repairing them and making thousands of dollars a month. I love that stuff because with the stock market, with crypto, you are competing against millions of other people, and a lot of them might have a lot more money than you do. But when you invest in something locally, real estate, a business, goods, services, you're competing with people in your other market. I can literally go to Chillicothe, Ohio, which is where I have quite a few investments in, and I can sit in a room with 80% of my competition. I know the people that I am fighting against or competing against. I know every single one of them. When you go and buy stock, like the one stock I really like is Vanguard Total Market Index, VTI. I really like that stock, and it has like it's trillions of dollars worth of investment in there. My piddly $50,000 that I have in VTI doesn't mean anything. When I own one $50,000 house on a block or a street, that one $50,000 house means a lot. That single investment can change the outlook of a neighborhood. I promise. You buy the dumpiest house on the street and you make it a nice house, it changes the outlook of that street. It changes the outlook of that community. You buy one trailer parking community. Like, I've had the police department contact me on my trailer park. I've had a lot of people contact me about my different investments that I have, and they're like, and they're really excited to see me do things. I've had like I said, I had the sheriff department, and they're thrilled that they're not having to run out meth addicts every single day of the week at my trailer park. I tell the story. We had a drug drive-through. Someone stole the window from a local McDonald's. I don't know for certain whether it was a McDonald's they stole the window out of, but it was a drive-through window. They took they stole the window out of a drive-through restaurant. They put it in their trailer, and during the first part of the month, they would sell drugs out of it. And they would have this big, gigantic group of cars, and you would go pay your money, and they would give you a baggie of drugs. And we tore the trailer down. Bought the trailer park. We tore the trailer park down. There were shootings in the trailer park. We fixed all that stuff. And I did it with, number one, no money out of my own pocket. But number two, comparatively to something like Vanguard's $1 trillion or Bitcoin's, what the market cap of Bitcoin's like $20 billion right now, my investment made something. That's why I love to compete with those things. I got a couple people saying that the autofocus is kind of screwed up. We'll see. Let me know if that worked. So it's just like, those are kinds of one of the things, and that's very much a segue. Yeah, I had a question. I'm located in Circleville, Ohio. I really never not mentioned that. I'm located in Circleville. A lot of my the trailer park and the laundromat are in Chillicothe. So we have a funny question on Facebook or YouTube, and they asked, did the cops confiscate the window? No, they didn't. We tore the trailer down before the cops could get to it. They did confiscate the firearm that was used in that specific incident. So, like, to me, it's really important that I participate in a small environment, a small location, as opposed to competing with everybody else. Because then I can get leverage. I can do things that, other people can't. When you get a huge, giant investment, it's very, very difficult. I want to read through comments really, really quickly. We already went through. We have people from all over the United States. I see Houston, Texas. I see Orlando, Louisiana. I see Ireland. Cool. The luck shirt on. We got several people from Canada. Always excited to hear Canada come in. If you're in another place and you just tuned in, I would love to hear where you are watching from. So we got somebody from the Middle East. I didn't know the Middle East is a country. That's a joke. The Middle East is a region. You might not want to say where you're from. That's fine. I appreciate you nonetheless. But anyway, it's cool to see everybody watch the stream from here. But we've already kind of given like a preview, or I've kind of already gone into like a segue. Just based on a nasty DM, nasty message we've already got in the stream today. Assuming that I'm just going to try to pitch crypto or pitch Forex or pitch options to you. None of those things are things I really like. But I do like building a business, buying real estate, building something in a local community that it's hard for other people to compete with, because you're able to actually kind of tune your business and do things that will allow you to compete with people in your market. You're not having to compete with multimillionaires even. In my community, I own property. It was my goal at one time to buy an entire street, and I'm still wanting to do that nonetheless. But I was working on buying a street, and I competed with two people, Joe and Lars. Two people were my competition to buy a whole street. Joe says, I don't want to buy any more, Brandon. Lars says, I only want to buy a house if it's over 4 bedrooms. There's 40 houses on the street. I ended up buying 13 of them. And it's crazy. Like, I've been evicted twice, not from a family of wealth. Able to buy, it was like a third of the street. That's why I like local investments. It's also what I really, truly believe is, as we head towards this recession, potentially, that we're already seeing some real estate markets cool off. I don't know. I'm not totally convinced that we're going to see a total catastrophe. Apocalypse is clickbait, I think. I don't think we're going to see a catastrophe. A true apocalypse in the real estate market. I think we're going to see some cooling off. I think we're going to see some markets that are severely overbought. They built more homes than they should have. There's not enough people to put in those houses. And we have those markets in the United States. Several areas of California are cooling off. They built too many homes. There's several areas. I was listening to Ben Mallah podcast last night, and he was going over several markets where they've overbuilt. But here in Central Ohio, we are in the deficit, 50,000 houses. So is the Central Ohio market going to crash? I think we're going to see some cool off, but I don't think we're going to see a 20% drop. Are we going to see that in a market like, say, Indianapolis, Indiana? I don't think so. San Bernardino County, California? I don't think so. Orange County? We might. Seattle, Washington, Tacoma? We might. I don't know. So there's going to be markets that are overbought and underbought, but I'm totally, unequivocally convinced that in every market, regardless, even if it's those markets that are cooling off and they're catastrophic, that you can do well. But you have to be willing to work. And I know. Everybody wants a magic pill. I'm sorry, guys. Everybody wants a magic pill. You want a happy little trinket. This is my moo-moo cow. Everybody wants a happy little good luck charm, like this shirt. Everybody wants a good little luck charm to make them think that, this is the one thing that I need to be successful. And for me, that one thing, if you're going to fixate on one thing, it's work smart and hard. Apply yourself. Try to boost your intelligence. Try to be smarter. Spend more time learning and educating yourself. Then you do entertainment. Don't waste your time. You do those things, you'll be fine. You will survive and you'll do super well in any market. I built a search engine optimization company during the gigantic mortgage recession. I still have my real estate license today. I'm still a licensed real estate agent in the state of Ohio. I still can buy and sell your house should you want to. I'm not going to, but I can legally. But when the recession happened, I was still selling houses, was still making money. Then all of a sudden, my personal income started going up a ton because I was working in the foreclosure market. All of a sudden, I was making $75 an hour 2 years after having a real estate license, $1,300 real estate license. I was making $50 to $100 an hour doing foreclosure processing. I was doing, they're called broker price opinions. I moved from one thing to another thing. I built a search engine optimization company. I sold $1.05 million worth of ebooks online back in 09, 10-ish. Because I find, and you're going to find too, if you're in the market, if you're in business and money and finance, and you're educating yourself like you should be doing, like everybody should be doing. If you are learning as this recession happens, you're going to find opportunities. Because who's going to get wiped out first, guys? It's the people that weren't smart and they bought because they were afraid of missing out. There's a statement, I think it's called FOMO. We're going to see if this works. I think it will work. We'll go into google.com and you're going to see my search history and hopefully nothing terrible comes up on here. I think this is going to work. All right, we're on Google. What is FOMO? An anxiety that an exciting event may currently be happening elsewhere, often aroused by posts seen on social media. It is the fear of missing out of something. The fear of missing out of something. I'm seeing so many people that have bought into Forex or crypto, certain kinds of crypto, or they've bought into something they really shouldn't have done. I've run into people that have bought into Airbnbs. Nothing wrong with Airbnbs. Excuse me. Nothing wrong with Airbnbs at all. But they've bought into these investments because everybody else was doing it. So it must be easy. You must not have to apply any critically thinking skills. You must not have to really try. And then you get into investments that you shouldn't be getting into, or you should be buying them at a discount, which is what I do. You should be being very careful, improving the value of them. And now the market's going to dip. And I've run into people that have paid 120% of what the market value, 20% over market value. The asset is way overpriced. And we see a 20% correction in a market, which I think that we could see some very bad markets get hit heavily, and you're going to see maybe a 20% correction. So that 100%, they're going to get creamed by a 40% margin. But if you were careful and you bought 30% under, 70% value of that asset, whatever it is, the business you want to buy, the laundromat you want to buy, the car wash, the vending machines, that 20% correction comes, you're still in the black. You're still making money. Doesn't come, you're pretty good too. So it's one of those things where people that didn't pay attention and weren't careful, they're going to get creamed. The other group that I'm running into are a lot of baby boomers. And this is not like something that, I don't want to throw stones at baby boomers. There's nothing wrong with being born in that era because my parents are baby boomers. But what I have found is a lot of people have held these businesses far longer than they ever should have. They inherited a business, or they had a lot of money and they bought a business, and they've got these businesses, they're producing income, they're making money. Not a ton of money, but they're making some money. And now the recession's coming, or a market correction's coming. And they don't have anybody trained. They don't have anybody with the skill sets to take over that business. And now someone's got to come in and fix it. And if we could do it right, I'd love that person to be you. Because otherwise what's going to happen is in these markets, we're going to see construction companies fold. Not everybody makes money in the construction industry. We're going to see real estate investments fold. Oh, because not everybody makes money in real estate. You got to do a good job. There aren't many investments that I know of where you can just put money in, not pay attention to, and just make a lot of money. Yeah, you could get into like annuities or dividend-paying stocks, which, they're okay things, but you're not going to make tons of money in it. But people expect to make tons of money in certain kinds of investments, a lot of investments. There's a reason why hedge fund managers tend not to outperform the market as a whole. And it's because people kind of like get into these things that they think they're going to do better, but they're actually doing average or worse than average, and they're not honing their skills, they're not applying themselves. The number of businesses that I run into that don't have Facebook pages blows my mind. The number of businesses that I run into that don't have a Google business listing blows my mind. The number of people that are making great money and their reviews are trash on Google blows my mind. It's incredible. And I see the opportunity to go into a business like that, especially during recession when everything's on sale, and just applying some standard business practices, some standard things that should be happening. You should have decent accounting. You should have some advertising. You should make sure that you got KPIs installed, key performance indicators. You should have things that you're doing to improve your business on a regular basis. Those are things that you should be doing inside of a business. It's crazy because so many businesses aren't doing that. Great example is a little Chinese Asian restaurant here in Circleville called the Bamboo House. They've gone under, sadly. Loved them. Absolutely. Some of the best food. It was these two older Korean ladies running a Chinese restaurant. I don't know why, but they did. I'd rather a Korean restaurant. And they had this restaurant called the Bamboo House. And if you're in Circleville, you know exactly who I'm talking about. You know the location. They did practically no advertising. Some of the best food I've ever eaten in my life. Phenomenal. And it was never busy because they didn't advertise it. My newspaper went in one time and just, we're going to advertise your menu for free. We advertise it for the two owners at no cost. And their business exploded because we advertised for them. Their business was marginally profitable. They did okay, but they never advertised. They didn't have a Facebook page. They didn't have a Google reviews. Like, they had a Google review page that was set up by somebody else just because they were a fan of the little restaurant that was. This restaurant was actually used to be right next to my car wash. Go figure. It was a wonderful place, but they didn't do any advertising. And I've run into so many other businesses, they do no advertising. They have no process beyond what it is they had. They had the best food in the world. I mean, like, best food here in Circleville. But when it came to the other things that you need, not too great. And unfortunately, coronavirus actually absolutely crushed their business. They tried to find a buyer for $25,000 for it. A lot of people asked me to buy the restaurant. I don't have any interest in spending $25,000 on a Chinese restaurant that I would have to cook food for. But it's absolutely amazing in a general sense that businesses don't apply these principles. Meanwhile, you have pizza restaurants that make pizza the same way. And I can name names here. There's pizza places. They don't make great pizza, but they have really good advertising. They have a system down, and we've got one here in town. I live in a town of 13,000 people, Circleville, Ohio. We have one pizza location that's doing $3 million a year in revenue. And generally with a well-operating pizza location, a pizzeria, you should be clearing about a 30% margin, net margin after all your expenses are paid. So if we'd apply that standard net margin to this pizza place, little pizza place, mind you, they're doing $1 million a year in a small Midwest town outside a major metro. Like, we're not a big place. $1 million a year net profit, $3 million a year revenue. They have good advertising, really good advertising. Every baseball game I see around here, there's advertising. And really cool setup. So contrast the Chinese restaurant that I loved versus the pizza place that I don't love as much. They have okay pizza. But it's just interesting to me, just really mind-blowing, that there are businesses that operate in this way. So what I'm saying here is, although we've got this recession coming on, although we've got these things that are on the horizon that could be very dark potential clouds that are going on, and people are calling me, messaging me. Oh my goodness, my phone's going off. I've got an incredible number of people that are just scared to death. And they're worried about this recession that potentially on the horizon or is here, depending on the statistics and data that you want to talk about. But the fear has set in. They're not applying any critical thinking to it. And they're going to get lost out. Meanwhile, I know a guy, one of the largest real estate developers in California today. Last time I talked to him, and I need to get an update, he had 350 houses that were in the end phases of construction. When I say I was talking to him, it was about 9 months ago. And I think he was starting to pare down. 350, how much is this? Let me click a button right here. What is 300? Oh, gotta get my mouse. What is 358 houses, and his average sale price in California was $500,000. How much money is that, guys? It's a lot of money, I think it is. They need commas on these. So there's 1,000, millions, $179 million worth of real estate this guy had. Pretty cool. He got his start in real estate back in 2010. I've had this conversation with this guy. When everybody was telling him to not invest in real estate, because they were saying the same thing to me. Don't invest in real estate. The market's going to have a double dip. Real estate values are going to decline in the United States to 50% of what their peaks were in 06, 07. Don't do it. He got into real estate because he saw some advantages. He was able to buy some houses for $50,000, and he's grown this to where he had almost $200 million under roof as of 9 months ago. So we're getting people to anger on here. I'll be reading your comments here soon. But I'm getting too much crypto hate, I think. Am I getting crypto hate? Because I'm not super ultra bullish on crypto. So let me see. The S&P goes slower. And it's like, and the problem is, like, going back to this critical thinking thing, everybody's convinced that they've got the right thing. I'm totally convinced that what I'm doing is right. But then when you look at people's track records and you're like, oh, where's your track record, Brandon? Where is somebody else's track record? And it's like, I've been buying real estate since 2013. I did the numbers. I've been not successful on about 5 different properties. I tried flipping a house in 2014. I lost $25,000 on it. My other laundromat where we tried to do the arcade, I sold it at a $2,000 loss. Laundromat under the bridge, I'm going to get soaked probably for $5,000 on it. And there's another property. I'm trying to think of what it is. Oh yeah, it's the military surplus warehouse. I will probably lose money on it. I haven't lost money on it yet, but I'll probably lose money on my military surplus warehouse with all of the Foot Lockers full of very interesting military components. We did a video on that a long time ago and no one watched it. I'll probably lose money on that one. So I think that's my 5 there. So my track record is pretty good. My track record in the stock market's pretty good. Is my track record in stock market better than everybody else's? Probably not, but it's kind of middle of the pack, and I've made some decent money. But the problem is, people get out of the market and they get really, really fearful when the market turns. Like we've seen probably a 6 or 7% decrease in the S&P 500. We saw a 30% decrease in the S&P 500 back in March 2020, and I did a video and I said, no one knows where the bottom is, so just don't listen to it. Just don't do it. Do the things that you were doing prior to the sell-off. You'll probably be okay. And back in March 2020, people were convinced. Go to the Google archive, guys. Look at the predictions for the stock market from all the talking heads on MSNBC, CNN, or whatever you listen to. Where were they convinced the stock market was going in 2020? They thought that the Dow Jones Industrial Average was going to go to 8,000, 9,000, 10,000-ish. If memory serves right, it dipped to $16,000 and then just came back up because the government started printing money, which I'm not condoning that, but it's kind of a logical choice that the government would start throwing money into the economy. Yet the people that had sold everything off when coronavirus started and the market started going down, they sold out. They didn't buy in till the market started getting a lot better. It's hard to predict those cycles. So you might as well build a business. You might build a process. You might build your mental capacity, your mental thoughts in such a way that you're just going to keep doing what's right as long as it's right. And unless, some nuclear event happens, which I hope it doesn't, I really hope it doesn't. Unless some terrible nuclear event happens, we're probably going to be okay. We're probably going to make it. This Ukraine thing is probably going to end someday. 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, it'll probably be over. Coronavirus is kind of on the tail end. Could it come back? Maybe, but we're probably at the end of it. And it's just like if you go with the average and just apply to yourself your own mental process and look that, yes, bad things happen, but they usually, over the course of time, if you just stay the course, you're generally okay. It's like with real estate. People say, aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid that you're going to lose all your money in your portfolio? It's like, well, in Central Ohio, I went back to the Depression. And I found out that, if you would buy a deal and not pay over what you should, you'll make money every time, just about every time. Obviously, my batting average isn't perfect. Those 5 deals, in between those 5 deals, I'll probably lose $75,000, maybe $100,000 on them. Much better than me trying to flip cars. I've lost on the only money I've made a car trying to flip was a Crown Victoria, and maybe this dump truck hauling company that I started. I think I'll do okay on it because with winter coming, we're really getting into hauling. I think we're going to do okay on it. But my track record there sucks because I just can't go deep into fixing cars. So I see a person, Harry L, says it's hard to get the deal. That's absolutely not true in any way, shape, or form. The deals are out there. I'm seeing more deals on the market right now, today, this past week, the past 2 weeks, the past month, than I have seen the past 2 years. Why? Because people are scared. People are getting so fearful that we're going to have a 50, 60% market correction. I've had all these people say, we're going to see a 30% crash in the real estate market. So it's going to be worse than the mortgage crisis in 08, 09, when they had built too many houses. Even though we have such a demand for new housing, there's an incredible amount of new housing starts that should have happened to happen. Okay. And meanwhile, I'm seeing like my brick Victorian. We did a life stream on it. I bought it for $125,000. Hard money lender was dying for that house. They financed $100,000 of it, so I got $25,000 out of pocket. Brought on an investor. He brought in $20,000 just to get the deal. So I have $5,000 out of pocket at this point on a 4-bed, 2-bath near downtown, Chillicothe, Ohio, and it'll rent for $1,600-$1,700 a month in this economy to a doctor from Medina Hospital. Those are words that mean something in Southern Ohio. I promise, guys. Those words mean something. But it's like, okay, I'll have $5,000 out of pocket for this nice Victorian 1800s house. And why'd I buy it? Because the investor I bought it off of is essentially wholesale to me. The seller of the property, is getting better deals. I ended up buying this house, and to kind of like not reveal the next video, we closed on the house. We found there was a separate deed attached to it. I got a free lot with the house. So now I want to build a house on that free lot. It's just like these deals are out there, but you have to be looking for them. And let's go back to the FOMO. Let's go back to the crowd. They're not really looking for deals. They're seeing what they can buy on Realtor.com or Zillow.com or Trulia. And that's what 80% of those people are doing. I had this idea. I almost titled this, instead of making money during a recession, about the fact I was pretty close this week to buying a farm. I decided I really want to buy a farm. I grew up on a corn farm outside Williamsport, Ohio, in the middle of a corn farm. And it was a dumpy little tenant house. We didn't own the farm, I promise. And it was, we didn't own the place. Proof of the pudding is they built a oil well in our backyard that exploded. So really wanted to buy a farm. Farmland in Central Ohio is currently selling for $15,000 an acre. 68 acres. It ended up selling for $425,000, $6,800 per acre. And it's like, if you were looking on Realtor.com, the current farm that's out there is $15,000 per acre. But if you would have pulled back just a little bit and spent some effort looking for tax foreclosures, you could have had a farm, 68 acres, for $6,800 an acre. You could have got half of a discount for farmland in Central Ohio, outside Columbus, kind of close. I'm an hour and 15 minutes away from the New Albany chip plant. So we've got a decently hot market, decently performing market. Just because it wasn't on Realtor.com, or it might have been on Realtor.com, but you couldn't buy it from a real estate agent because it was a tax foreclosure office. So the big thing, I'm trying to read through things here real quick. Hopefully I'm not rambling and it makes sense. If I can't react to message you, no thanks. Am I messaging people? I don't know. Oh, yeah, if you want to DM me, my DMs are open on Facebook. That's what that message is supposed to be. Anyway, so I was looking for this farm in central Southern Ohio, and you got half off by looking off the market. That's kind of like a deal that was out there, but you can't do what everything else does. I have a question here from Santiago Yepis. Have I gone to college? Nope, couldn't do it. My dad had a heart attack when I was 18, and I had to get into something else. I worked at a warehouse. Then I got my real estate license. How far is too away for an investment property that you manage yourself? It depends on the kind of property. If it's a high-end, single-family detached house, and you're renting to a doctor, maybe not a lawyer, maybe a lawyer, I don't know. You're renting a single-family house to somebody that's reputable and trustworthy. Hour, 2 hours. It depends on your personal construction. I know people that this couple lives in Austin, Texas, and they remotely manage real estate in St. Louis, Missouri, and I think Springfield, Illinois, and I think they have some in Louisville, Kentucky. They are not close at all to their investments, and they still manage them remotely. If you can build a business process that makes sense, maybe you have somebody that goes around with a cell phone on Google Meet or FaceTime, and they're the person that holds a camera for $10 an hour, $20 an hour, and they do all the walking and talking around in an area that you need to. Maybe you could develop a relationship with somebody like that. I mean, I know quite a few people that would hold a cell phone for $20 an hour. Go take a picture of the plumbing under this house. Go take a picture of the front of this house. Can you tell me, is there a Camaro on cinder blocks? Not saying it has to get that bad, but there's ways around everything. I have a question. I love answering these questions. What would I do if I had $10,000? It's this question that I've seen a couple of the questions this week. If I had $10,000, you can use $10,000 to buy an investment property, a rental. You can do it through an FHA loan. FHA will not give you a loan. You can earn a loan from the federal government with providing 3.5% down. So your $10,000 will allow you to buy about a $300,000 property. And I realize that you're from Southern California, like in Orange County, $300,000 for a house isn't going to do anything. But you could go to Riverside, San Bernardino, you could find a dumpier house, not a great house, but it would be yours. And there are definitely house hacking strategies to where you could buy a big house, medium-sized house, rent out a room, get that roommate, that spare entrance rental, that ADU, and you could make some money off of it. If you're in the Midwest or a lot of markets in the South, that $300,000 is going to go a lot farther. If you lived here in Central Ohio, I could show you quite a few places that you could buy a duplex or maybe even a triplex, maybe even a quadplex for under $300,000. It would be within that FHA limit. You buy a quadplex, 2 of those are going to go in your pocket. 1.5 to 2 are going to go money straight in your pocket. The other unit you're going to pay all your bills with, and then one of the units you're going to live in for a year. We did the math on that on a video prior. Would you live in a closet for $2.4 million? I ran into this guy. He had a 10-year plan to retire. He's 18 years old. He's going to retire by the time he's 28. He bought a quadplex, already closed on it, saved up his 3.5%. He's living in the closet. He's living in the closet for a year. He's an outdoors guy. He doesn't care about his house. It's a big closet under the staircase. He's living in there in a house he bought, a quadplex he bought for 3.5% down. He's going to do that for 1 year. Then he's going to take that money. He's going to buy another quadplex because all the money's going in. Well, not all the money. Most of the money's going in the bank. He's going to continue to work a job, going to enjoy nature outside. He's going to buy a second duplex. Within 4 years, he's going to have 4 duplexes. He's going to roll that money over. It's going to go in his pocket. He's going to pay down the principal of those properties. I think by year 10, the first duplex is totally quadplex is totally cash free. And at that 10-year cutoff, if memory serves right, he's going to have $20,000 a month net cash flow in his pocket because he's willing to live in a closet for a year, which kind of sucks. But I don't think I would do it. But, if I was 18 years old and lived in a location and I was an outdoors person, it's probably not a terrible thing. So that's like kind of the grand, overwhelming idea when it comes to what I would do with $10,000. Now, the big thing is you can take that strategy and you can apply it, for a lot of different ways. You could get real inventive. I'm paying $800-ish for a vending machine. Let's say $1,000 tops. Let's say you need to put a new cover on it. You need to fix the bill mech. $10,000 would be enough for 10 vending machines. 10 vending machines, go and get them placed. Looking at ATMs right now, $2,000 a pop. You buy 5 ATM machines. $10,000, you can flip a car, a couple cars, a bunch of cars. I know people that are making tons of money off bird scooter recharging. I see a guy in a little beat up S10 that he's got like 50 bird scooters he charges every night. It's a very interesting situation, but it's mostly limited by how good are you at researching things and how good are you at going out and finding opportunities, as opposed to what opportunities are actually out there. Because it's just, for me, the opportunities are absolutely astronomical. I looked at a sewage company, a septic company years ago in MacArthur, Ohio, and for $10,000, I could have done an SBA loan. I could have acquired a sewage company. The sewage company was making $100,000 a year net in the pocket of the owner. Sounds like, to me, that'd be a really good thing to do with $10,000. But there was a business process. It was not something that you could just go in as a turnkey investment and say, I'm going to buy a sewage company. Here's $10,000, Mr. SBA Bank. I'm going to service homes, private septic tanks. It's not like that. You have to have a business process. But the owner of it that got it to doing $200,000 a year gross revenue, $100,000 a year net, was a business guy. And he built it into this really great thing. And the sewage servicing guys were getting paid well. The trucks were being maintained. Really great business. Yeah, I like the idea of ATMs. I'm trying to do a deal right now on 70 ATMs. So Tom Lohr asks, should Jan and Dean belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Probably not. I'm more of a really big rock guy as opposed to surf music. Cool, I got 100. I got like 200, 250 on here. You make $120 an hour when you're on call. That's very cool. So it's Any advice for selling houses in Michigan? Patrick Harvey has asked that. I don't know. You'd have to kind of define a little bit better. CM works in healthcare. You see your society crumbling before your eyes every day. You go to work. You make over 40 an hour. You're willing to give this up, create your own business. I think you should. Maybe you can do something in the medical field. There's a lot of things you can do in the medical field. I should buy a local brewery, Tom Lore says. I'm not sure. What about robot coffee machine that can make $25K a month? I'm sure it couldn't the right location, but I would think a robotic coffee machine would be very expensive. So it's a situation where you've got to understand a business process. You need to learn to systemize things. You need to learn to create a business as opposed to doing what everybody else does. I think that the average, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, and I don't mean to throw stones, but we'll throw some stones here. I think the average thing when it comes to starting a business or maintaining a business is you pay your friend $50, $100 to sell essential oils. Ooh, Brandon said it, didn't I? I said it, didn't I? I think that the norm is like when it comes to starting a business to like sell Ginsu knives. Not that there's anything bad with essential oils or Ginsu knives, but that's kind of like what people do. They don't go out and buy a laundromat or vending machines. They don't go out and like learn the process to get SBA funding. They don't know how to write a business plan. They don't know how to build a Facebook page. My gosh, the people that, in my own personal life, they don't care about Facebook. They don't care about TikTok. They don't care about YouTube. They don't care about, 5 million subscriber Brandon. They care about Brandon that can build a decent Facebook page. Because I do that. Like I've done, I think I have 37 Facebook pages. If that number was right this morning, because it popped up. They care about whether I could build a Facebook page or not. And I have another person that's asked me, begged me, can you help me write a business plan, Brandon? Oh, that's a lot of time to write a business plan about a business I know nothing about. Can I do it? Yes. Will I invest 20 hours of my own time to do it? I don't know if I can. But they don't have the foundational knowledge to do it. And a business plan is pretty simple once you understand the process. And 20 hours could be an overestimation, but I expect to pull traffic surveys, and I guess I really wanted to be the good guy and outsource it to somebody else. But so like I've looked at these things, and it just blows my mind with the opportunity that's out there, especially the opportunity that you and I are going to see in the marketplace as time goes on with this economic fallout that's going to happen. I talked to when Nate Barger, we did the Nate Barger videos. It's just mind-blowing to me how much opportunity was out there. He was telling me about a private equity firm, a private equity firm that's worth multi-billion dollars, and they have to liquidate everything. And those assets in the multi-billion-dollar private equity firm are going to go to much smaller investors that do not run PE, that have a desire for their kind of real estate and their kinds of businesses. The private equity firm is underperforming on their assets by 25%. Now, if you had an investment that was underperforming by $1 million investment that was underperforming by 25%, you could buy it for a 25% discount and you could just fix it. Just do the average. You'd make $250,000. Now, what if you could do better than the average? What if you could do 20% over the average, which we're not talking about like 10Xing, 100Xing, the Grant Cardone stuff. You need 100X your business. We're not talking about that. 20% over, be $450,000 on $1 million business. If you could just do better than the average. There's a lot of businesses out there, a lot of things that are going on out there. They're not even doing the average. They're underperforming. Guy that actually works for me technically, he went and bought a business doing $300,000 a year in revenue, like $100K net. They made the signs for the roads, like when you drive up and down a road and it says East Main Street, West Main Street. Well, yeah, let's say East or West Main Street. And you see that green sign with the embroidery or whatever it's called, the sticky stuff they put on it. They made those for several municipalities in Central Ohio, $300,000 a year. That business was liquidated for $10,000 because the owner got a transfer and they just didn't want to do it anymore. That opportunity was out there. He ran the business for 10 years, made a lot of money off of it. The business was paid off the first month. Like his $10,000 out of pocket was paid within 1 month of operating the business. And it was just one of those things. It's like, but if you're not out there looking for business and opportunities, the silly thing is you're not going to find them. People say, you're so lucky, Brandon. Oh my goodness. I wish I had the luck that you do. And it's like, You weren't there when I was working in the warehouse for $11 an hour. You weren't there when my dad had his heart attack. You weren't there when I got my real estate license. You weren't there when I had to transition into foreclosures and was in these dumpy properties. I'm like, I wouldn't think I'm lucky. I would say I'm a hard worker, and I like to learn, and I like to research things. I like to get a little better every day. So it's a situation where you've got to be very, very careful about this stuff. Zach on YouTube asks, should you buy or lease a laundromat? You're not mechanically inclined. You don't know how to fix machinery. And I'm like, I do know how to fix machinery. I don't want to do it. What you need to do is you need to find somebody that can do it. You need to partner with somebody. Maybe somebody, and this is what's cool. Maybe, Zach, you are a money, business, finance guy that's good at building websites, that's good at making sure you have good Google reviews. Maybe you should go out and find somebody that is mechanically inclined, that can work on washer and dryer machines, that can't do all that other stuff that I just mentioned. Maybe you should partner with that other person to buy a laundromat. Maybe you don't need to partner with somebody with that. Maybe you just need to find the right guy that'll do it for $25 an hour and is efficient at doing it. Maybe you need to partner with a local appliance repair company, like a Maytag repair guy or a Kenmore repair guy. Maybe they have the knowledge and the experience to do it. One of the guys that does repairs on my laundromat stuff is the former like Maytag or Kenmore repairman. And he comes to my laundromat and he fixes stuff. I don't fix stuff. I did fix a dryer on camera the other day because a screw fell out, and I had a multi-tool, and we were able to do it, and we were able to fix it while we were doing a YouTube video, and that video will probably be out in a couple weeks. So can I fix stuff? Yes. Is it time advantage for me to do things that are worth $20 an hour? Probably not. Do I do them sometimes? Yes, I did because I was on a ladder this morning at 8 o'clock in Asheville, Ohio, I did not fix the machine, but I was trying to fix it. So there's certain times that I do have to do things that I'm not able to. But you know, it is what it is. Oh, I dropped the multi-tool. I got it again. So, Critic Greek says guy that made $300K a year hanging Christmas lights and charging the store to store the lights. It's a great business idea. I've talked about it on a couple of other videos. Who was it? Was it Ryan Pineda or no? It wasn't Ryan Pineda. It was somebody else that's into like the sweaty side hustle type stuff. And he ran into a guy that was doing $1,000 a day with just a ladder. The homeowners were buying the lights. He just hung them up with a ladder. It's pretty cool. So how's my brother's appliance business? Tom Laura's asking. His business is doing great. I think he just got a contract with a major company in the state of Ohio to service every company they have, or every store they have in Central Ohio. So learned a lot of stuff from Investopia. Every single time we ran into a financial term, you understand, watching videos. Yeah. You have to understand this stuff that I know. It's not like I have any formal education. I Google everything. I research everything I do, and it's really helped me out. I don't watch TV. Like, if you guys want to live the lifestyle and watch TV and drive a Porsche, I am not that guy. But if, I am the guy, for the most part, that doesn't know things. I'm very, very ready and willing to admit I don't know the answers, but I'm willing to research it and ask people. And I find out the more that I do that, the better I get. Zach says, how do you learn how to fix all the different machines like washers, dryers, vending car machines? I watch the videos on YouTube. Or I go to a private Facebook group, and I ask questions. It's the big thing is, and I've got a question here. The question is, how often do I go live? As it is right now, I do these live streams every Thursday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing 1 hour live stream every week. We'll at some point get back to doing them on site, like at my laundromat or whatever. Then from 5 to 6, I do a private live stream. I've got private coaching and training clients. So we're going to get on this live stream here in 11 minutes. Thanks, Eric, for the support. I'm going to get on my private live stream in 11 minutes. I've got a guy north of me and a girl south of me. They're in the final stages, I think, of purchasing. One of them's getting a car wash, one of them's getting a laundromat. So we're going to do a live stream. I think we're going to do a live stream breaking the numbers down. Just because they want me to go over financial statements that are issued by the sellers. And we've got NDAs all around, non-disclosure agreements, that we're not going to disclose them with those agreements outside of the parties involved. So since I help them out on everything, I'm kind of like partnering on their deals and advising them on deals. We'll probably look at some financial statements tonight. I don't know. So it's just one of those things of all this stuff can be approached and can be done. That's why I do private coaching training, at investmentjoy.com, to try and help accelerate people. But realistically, the stuff that I say to my private coaching clients, there's a YouTube video for it, or there's an article somewhere. There might be an Investopia thing about it. What people pay me for is they want the advice now, and they want it from somebody that's competent and professional, and then they want somebody that's going to call them back in 2 weeks and say, or a week and say, hey, what happened with that car wash that you were looking at that had the really crappy automatic bay? What happened there? Oh crap, Brandon's going to be on my case. I got to, I help people with some motivation to do the right thing. But it's realistically this thing where a lot of this information's out there if you desire to get it. The problem is a lot of people don't desire to get it. And that's like the scary thing. A lot of people don't desire to get it. But to me, once you get around the right people, you get around the right environment, I'm trying to create that online, you can do really well for yourself. And it's like, if I can do it, not having any like inheritance or multi-generational wealth, trying to be that person in my family to have it, I think most people can do it. Might take you more time than it took me. Might not. We've been doing these coaching. I've been doing these coaching calls for 2 months now. Yeah, about 8 weeks now, and we've got several people that are in contract on their car washes. One guy that took him 3 weeks to start a laundromat because whatever thing that he was getting stuck on, I told him what to do, and he got a laundromat with 40-some freaking washers and 30-some freaking dryers. Bigger. I'm kind of jealous because it's bigger than mine. It's just a situation where, if you spend time and figure it out and invest your time in education, not entertaining yourself, you'll do okay. Cindy Garcia asks, how much is an ATM? The ones that we're looking at are about $2,000 a piece. So it's going to be $140,000 to do it, but you can go in with SBA funding on the right ATM type investment, and you can get it. Most of these ATMs I run into, we think that these are going to be high volume locations. The low volume locations are doing $100, $150 a month. So within the course of a year to year and a half, you're going to pay out your investment totally. And it's very hands off because you're not the person that fills the money typically on these. So, if there's any other questions, we always say, are all hearts and minds clear? Guys, I got 8 minutes left in the stream, and then I'm going to go and do some private coaching here in a little bit. Kyle Brannon says being debt-free with a decent cash pool is a great advantage that most people don't have. I agree. But I also run into a lot of people that have generational wealth, and it was all given to them, and they don't have the work ethic to do anything with it, and it's going to come and bite them in the butt. Hopefully, Kyle's the kind of person on here that has the money sitting on the sidelines ready to buy assets and things that make money as this market kind of turns. It's because it's just, to me, there's going to be a lot. There already are a lot of opportunities out there. And over the next couple years, I figure 2 years, we're going to see even more opportunities. And that isn't to say that over the past 3 years there haven't been opportunities. I bought a trailer park in 2019, highest market that we've seen in Ohio in a long time. Bought the car washes in 2021. They're doing pretty well. And it's like, it's in the middle of a time when quite a few people said that you shouldn't be buying anything, and we've done okay with them, really good with them. So let me see if I have any questions. I had a question. How does one get started acquiring the knowledge for this stuff without going to college? You have $100K in the bank, no debt, living free at your parents' house at the moment. Send me a message on Instagram. I can give you some ideas. It's just going to be getting around the right people in your area, finding those right people that can help coach you, train you, whatever. Can I be one of them? Absolutely. Investmentjoy.com. But otherwise, maybe we can have a conversation of how to find some people like that. What is terrible advice? I'm trying to figure this out. You're not sure what to do with $10,000. Okay, it's fuzzy logic. He doesn't have to pay rent, and been able to save $10,000. I see a question about Uber Eats Ghost Kitchen. I would love to do a video on those. So, what would my advice be to a young person that wants to start investing? Just start watching investment videos. You can't figure out like my default investments, VOO and VTI in the stock market. Those are large Vanguard funds. They're ETFs. Not that you're never going to lose money on them, but if you dollar cost average, statistically, you're going to do pretty good with them over the course of time. Full disclosure, I don't have any investment certifications and no college degree. So let's say I'm trying to read through these Facebook comments. Yeah, okay, I got some DMs on here. How'd I get started on my first real estate investment? I guess my first one that I kind of did was I helped my brother buy a house in '07. I helped arrange financing and everything like that. That property has paid itself off multiple times. The problem is we used some really crazy loan structures on it, and that all disappeared once the mortgage crisis actually hit. So I was knocked out from '07 till 2013, and then in 2013 I was like, you know what? I should just learn to start writing business plans. I should start writing investment proposals, and I should start looking for private funding because I just didn't feel like I could get a bank loan, which that was true. Then I started just writing business plans and proposals, going out bird dogging properties for investors and investments and stuff like that. And then once I started showing people, like, I know my stuff, my numbers work. It'll work in any market, even in 2013. When people were scared that we were going to have a double dip, it just the money just started flowing. It took me a year, probably 2 years. I went from having $25,000 to invest in property to over $400,000. It's just like I figured out how to write business plans. It became so easy to approach people. Have I ever had anyone my change machines broken into? The change machine, Danny tried to beat it up with a hammer because he's mad at me. That no. Vending machines, no. Coin pusher, absolutely yes. Soap machine. Somebody broke into my soap machine with a crowbar, got $20 from me. Do I think college is worth it? It can be if you get a good degree. And what I mean by that is a degree in a highly desirable major. And unfortunately, there's a lot of majors that are out there that are absolute bullcrap. And realistically, they're oversold. And I don't want to throw out the top two, but did you guys know that there's at least one college major? Well, there's one college major that they have 2 million people majoring in right now, and they expect there to be only 50,000 jobs for? 2 million people every year competing for 50,000 jobs. Does not make sense. Did you know if you get a degree in something like accounting, there's about 80,000 people a year getting accounting degrees. There's an estimated 100,000 jobs that are needed. MBA degrees, there's more demand than there is. Logistics degrees, there's more demand. And then there's skilled trades, which there's unending demand for like college level-ish skilled trades, HVAC, welding, stuff like that, plumbing, like that trade plus a little bit of formal business education. There's, I can't remember what one is. There's expected 250,000 jobs a year, new, that the economy needs. And there's only like 30,000 people that are getting that degree or getting that training. So it's a situation. And STEM's pretty good. Yeah, skilled trades and STEM are pretty solid ones. Like those degrees aren't bad. But if you would go with some of the things, and I guess I'll throw out criminal justice. Criminal justice is a terrible thing to get a degree in. Now, I'm not saying peace officer training. That's pretty solid. But criminal justice, like as a whole, like they only have enough jobs for 20% of the people graduating every year. And the problem is, it's like FOMO. There's a lot of college FOMO out there. As I say this, as I'm in a college right now, with no degree. People get this fear of missing out. I have to go to college. Well, what do you get a degree in? Doesn't matter. I just need college education. It's like, no, you should go to something that actually has a use. So you've got to be very careful with that. Do you think we buy to let in the UK worth it? Yeah, buy to let's fine. Let to let's even better. What's happening when you do what others do? Do you think it's starting YouTube realistically make a living? Absolutely. My brother's a great case. He started a YouTube channel a year and a half ago. He makes more money than I do, and a lot of the time. There's been several months he's made 3 times more money than I have on YouTube with significantly less subscribers. Graduated from a top law school, but the market's saturated. You're unemployed, underpaid for the freelance work you end up doing. Sorry to hear that. The legal field can be, depending on what you're doing, it can be like very over saturated, depending on what it is. Know of any laundromat financing options? There's like 20. You can seller finance. You can go with factory direct. You can go with SBA funding. You can master lease. You could do a personal private note, PMM. You could do a hard money loan. I mean, there's probably 20 different ways to finance a laundromat. Depends on how bad you want it and how much research you want to do. Send me a DM. I could probably help you out. Thanks for the live stream, Kyle. Tune in more often. Yeah. Once again, we do this. The deal is every Thursday, 4 to 5. I'm doing an hour here, public, and doing an hour private coaching, which is going to have to hit the button to terminate the stream. I appreciate every single one of you. If you're on YouTube and you need to send me a DM, DM me on Instagram or Facebook. If you're on Facebook, send me a DM on Facebook. They're always open. Me or somebody on the team will get back to you pretty quickly, I think. How much did I grow my capital and my best deals? I mean, I started off with $25,000 in 2013. I'm at $10 million today in total assets. I'm in $2.1 million worth of debt. That includes all private debt. I'm only in $500,000 worth of bank loans, which is pretty crazy. So if you get a hold of me, just send me a DM. We respond to pretty much every one of them unless they're spam or something crazy. So, all right, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. I promise that you guys can do it. Every single one of you can do it if I've been able to. I think you can too, but you're going to have to spend time learning and educating yourself as opposed to just sheer entertainment. That is to say I don't do my best to produce entertainment content, but my goal is to start you off with entertainment and end up in education. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week. New video, new vlog will be out Saturday at 10